Hey, good day, everyone. I'm John Snyder, and welcome to Thursday's topic, Hot Jobs, Internship Style with Higher Military. And today we've got Tiana and Justin from Afma. So welcome to both of you, and I'm glad to have you both here talking today about the internship that Afma has with Higher Military. And it's we're going to talk about that in depth just a little bit later on. But what we're talking about, the position is the Military Mortgage Advisor internship position. So I'm really excited to learn more about AFMA and to learn more about that particular internship opportunity through DoD SkillBridge and Higher Military. So welcome to both of you. And I would like to start off with giving you both the opportunity to introduce yourself a little bit before we get into the question and answer period. So Tiana, if you wouldn't mind starting off.
Sure, thanks, John. No, we're very excited to be here. I'm Tiana Fallavollita, the Vice President of Human Resources for AFMA, coming to you today from our headquarters location in Reston, Virginia, and really excited to speak with everyone about our Higher Military SkillBridge intern opportunities that we have.
Awesome, thanks. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin Pearson here. Great to meet everyone. If you have a minute, drop a comment in the chat below if you have any questions. I do business development for AFMA, building different types of strategic partnerships with military support organizations, just like Higher Military, here within the military ecosystem, and I'm in Northern Virginia. So thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Justin, let's start off with you. Tell us about the experience that you had in the military and how it prepared yourself for your military transition into the private sector, and some of the lessons that you learned as you were getting ready to transition from the military and into the private sector.
Yeah, thanks, John. So I transitioned back in 2016. That's when I started, just a few months before Mike did, as a matter of fact. And transition then was a lot different than what it is now. I retired in 2017. You know, at that point in time, LinkedIn was just getting started, and that was the go-to resource. However, there weren't many LinkedIn experts or training courses, right, to be able to fully understand the power of LinkedIn, right? So even thinking about it, there was no Higher Military. There was no digital networking professional program, and there really wasn't a tribe of supporters there like there is now. So my transition was much different than the transitions that I see currently, you know, in the military transitioning space. So it was a lot harder to get started. I think that there was a lot more speed bumps and brick walls back then because you didn't have many of those coaches or experts that were out there constantly offering advocacy or providing mentorship. You know, at that point in time, mentorship programs like the American Corporate Partner were not just getting started, but, you know, that was very, very new to me, and there wasn't a lot of information at the time of, you know, how to use it or why to use it. So the transition was difficult. Now, you know, the last 10 years of my military career was in talent acquisition. So, you know, that did help me from just interacting with the civilian community perspective and recruiting in general, and utilizing different types of marketing functions, like to attract young men and women into the Army. And I was able to use those skills when I transitioned out into my first role. And, you know, since then, it's just, you know, I continue to look for opportunities where I can, you know, make a difference in the military community, and just continue to provide support back to those that are transitioning. So, you know, thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiana, I'm going to throw this next question over to you, but for everyone that is in and watching this right now, please ask your questions in the chat box. I know we've got Alex Boadia that's in there right now from Higher Military that can answer your questions about DoD SkillBridge program in general, and then also these particular opportunities with AAFMAA specifically. And then also, if you have any questions for Tiana or Justin, throw them in there and we'll drop the questions into the interview and you'll get a real-time answer right there. So Tiana, tell us about AAFMAA and its mission.
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. So AAFMAA stands for the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association, and we go by AAFMAA. Our mission is to help ensure the financial security and independence of the members of the armed forces. And we do this through life insurance, through investment management, residential mortgages, a whole spectrum of services that are tailored to the needs of the military community. And AAFMAA has a very unique history. Some of you might have gone on our website and seen that we were founded back in 1879 by Lieutenant Colonel Roger Jones. So back then, the way that the Army took care of the families of fallen soldiers was to literally pass the hat and take up a collection to collect money for the surviving family to help send them back home. Well, at the Battle of Little Bighorn, there were no survivors left from the 7th Cavalry. And so there was no hat to pass, no one to pass it to. And that was kind of the impetus to form this benefit society that was then called the Army Mutual Aid Association, but is today AAFMAA, the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. And that mission is really, it continues to be our driving purpose to take care of the families and our members. We serve all branches of the armed forces today. We provide life insurance. We've expanded into mortgages and wealth management. And really at our core, and sometimes referred to as the heart of AAFMAA, are our member and survivor services. So these are things like assistance with VA claims, advice when you're getting ready to transition or retire from the military, and then of course our survivor assistance services, which do the tremendous job of taking care of the families once the member has passed and making sure that they have all of the benefits and entitlements that their service member received for them. So that's AAFMAA in a nutshell.
That's fantastic. And I think I remember reading, if that's correct, AAFMAA is also a nonprofit organization. Is that correct? Which is really different than
Yes.
A lot of organizations that are out there that are doing the type of work that AAFMAA does, correct?
Yep, we sure are. We're a member-owned association, and our members are definitely our focus and who we think about when we make decisions and provide services.
Fantastic. So Justin, is there a strong military presence within the organization?
I think that's definitely an understatement right there, John, when you think about strong military presence in general. So I'll first start by saying, our mission and our entire business, for the past 142 years has been specifically to support service members, their families, and veterans. So let that sink in. Over 14 decades, specifically as Tiana had mentioned, since the Battle of the Bulge. So when I think of our organization and the types of leaders that have been in our organization and how that's permeated, over the last 142 years, of course, it's why we continue to serve, why I continue to serve in this capacity, to be amongst our brothers, our sisters in arms, to help them and assist them, not only with financial solutions, but with tools for life success. Being part of their journey, being part of their stories and helping them, it's just a really, really amazing opportunity to work with our members, to work with partners like higher military, right? And being able to have these types of military affiliated interactions are really second to none. Because at the end of the day, it impacts those that we serve, the military families, the military spouses, and the veterans.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I think about my direct line leadership. Our chief operating officer, Jerry Quinn, he's a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves. Our president is a retired brigadier general, a West Point grad. Our president, Mike Neese. So just being around this culture and this organization. You know, you're interacting constantly with those within our community. And of course, you hear the old stories of back when I was in, you know, type thing. So, you know, I'm good with it.
There I was.
So,
yeah.
There I was.
So if you don't mind, Justin, let's kind of tag onto that. The positions and the types of work, the positions that are available and the types of work that AAFMAA does don't typically, you would think, directly translate from a military background. But what strengths do you see transitioning service members and military spouses bringing to an organization like AAFMAA?
I want to make sure that I haven't muted myself. Okay, good. Right, so obviously some of the easy ones are attention to detail, right? Dedication, individuals that have exceptional oral and written communication skills. We're all used to all the different Microsoft products, right? We learn extremely fast, especially because of the specific environments that we've operated in and the different levels of leadership that we've been within. It just really magnifies the chances of success within the specific jobs that we have. And since those jobs that we have are totally focused, like for our military members, the individuals like that are managers of these positions, they're able to provide the necessary coaching and mentorship to help our service members right into these great roles. A prime example of that is Martin Taylor, you know, who's now part of the internship program that Higher Military provided. He's a 20-year Air Force veteran and doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's easy translation here.
Fantastic. Tiana, talk to everybody about what the company culture is like at AAFMAA.
Yeah, and I always think that's such an interesting question. I think for AAFMAA, it really comes down to we are a values-based, service-driven organization. And at our essence, we're really about 4 kind of core values or principles, and that's compassion, trust, protection, and innovation. And so compassion really speaks to the heart of how we do things, how we deliver service to members. We're a high-touch, highly personalized service organization, and compassion is at the core of that. The trust, so, you know, I said we've been around since 1879. That trust of our members is invaluable. We don't ever want to lose that trust. They know that we will do the right thing and that we have their best interest in mind in all of the services that we offer. And so trust is definitely a key part of our culture. The protection in, you know, we're a financial solutions company. The services that we provide offer that financial protection through the insurance or helping a service member secure a mortgage for their home, the investment management and wealth management to preserve and grow their wealth, all the kinds of financial protection and solutions that we provide. And then innovation. And this is really where the SkillBridge and the higher military internships and the input from the service members really comes into play, because we have to stay relevant with our membership. We have to think about the ways that we do things and the services that we offer and be innovative. And that's really where their experience and their insight comes into play and helps us with that aspect of the culture and that innovation value. So, I mean, that's how I would describe the culture.
Yeah.
And Justin has been a great asset to AFMA. I welcome his thoughts.
Yeah. So Justin, you get to answer that one too. But throw in there, if you wouldn't mind, you know, what's the best thing that you like working about AFMA? And I think those two questions kind of go really well together.
Hand in hand. And I would say, I think it's a combination of both too, because within culture, you have collaboration. But one of my favorite things within the organization is the spirit of collaboration. And I see, as I have to interact with pretty much everyone within the entire organization to do great little initiatives like this, everyone shares the same vision at the end of the day. They're dedicated to the mission of serving our military families and creating this military-friendly environment within the organization. And having that, it really creates an environment of family. Like I've been part of organizations where you just felt like you were a cog in the wheel. But to be part of an organization where you really feel like, wow, I'm making a difference. I'm part of the family. I'm part of, the history, right? The legacy that AAFMAA is creating. That's really important to me. And I see that as the genuine spirit, I'll call it, of collaboration. Everyone has shared goals. But I think furthermore, it's an organization that cares, especially having managers that care, that are constantly supportive, but furthermore, they're always offering amazing creative feedback that like you can say, wow, that's pretty powerful right there. Thank you so much for giving me that insight so I can have a better understand how to whatever chart the course ahead or maneuver this, that, or the other. So
awesome. I think there's a couple of things that I'd like to direct your way, Tiana. Talk to us about the opportunity that's available first as an DoD SkillBridge Internship that is available for the military mortgage advisor intern position.
Yeah, so the military mortgage advisor, MMA, because we love acronyms around here. So this is part of Afma Mortgage Services, and they provide residential mortgages to existing Afma members, anyone who qualifies for membership by way of their service. And so this is an opportunity to learn about the mortgage industry, understand how to originate a mortgage loan, how to process it, really all of the behind the scenes steps that take place. So the opportunity to learn that. And then while you're getting exposure to the mortgage industry, preparing for and studying for the exams that you need to take to be a mortgage loan originator. So there's a national exam that you have to take, and then each state has certain certification and licensing requirements that are required before you can actually be a military mortgage advisor and help members obtain a mortgage for their home or refinance for their
So this is really interesting to me. Like we were talking about before, I'm finally growing up and buying a home for the first time. I've been one of those guys that's been traveling around with the military for a long time and just didn't want to deal with owning a home and then transferring to a new duty station and having to figure out what's going on. But I'm growing up, so I'm learning a lot about mortgages at the moment myself. So you were talking about a state certification in addition to a national certification. So if a person goes into this internship position and performs well and is offered a position by AAFMAA following the internship, and they pass their exams, do they have to actually reside in the state that they take the certification for to be a mortgage officer?
So yes, they would have to work from the state where they are licensed. To an extent, the states kind of vary on that, but those positions are based out of our branch offices. We've just found that the collaboration and feedback from other military mortgage advisors, it makes more sense to be located in a branch. And so we've got branches. The one advertised here is in Chantilly, Virginia, but we also have branch locations in Arizona, Denver, Texas, North Carolina. We're pushing for Chantilly, but we do have branch locations in a number of different states across the United States.
Okay, awesome. What really do you feel is important for a successful candidate to apply for this particular internship opportunity?
Yeah, I think the drive and focus. So being self-motivated, really having that desire to help the military community, being passionate about, hey, I want to learn about the mortgage industry. I want to help veterans obtain a mortgage, the one that makes the most sense for their needs. I think that drive is really key. And I saw one of our mortgage advisors tune in, Charles Skinner from our Morrisville branch. So he's a great example. He had served, he took the certification exams, and now he is a military mortgage advisor. And I think his drive and his network of military members that can use him in obtaining mortgages is going to be really valuable.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you, one of the things that I like to talk to people that are transitioning from the military when I have the opportunity, it's really don't ignore the service piece that the military has really inculcated into your personal values when you leave, whether it's something professional or something personal. Find a way to give back to a community that you care about, and this sounds like one of those positions that really offers that ability to not only earn a solid living for yourself and your immediate family, but also a way to make people's dreams come true.
Thank you for describing it that way, John. That was a great.
Hey, kudos to you, John. Thank you.
Yeah. So talk to us, Tiana, about the relationship manager apprentice position.
Yeah. So the relationship manager apprentice is part of Afma Wealth Management and Trust, which is a trust company. They offer fiduciary services to our members, so financial planning, investment management, trust services. And so in the apprentice role, you are, for lack of a better word, kind of shadowing a senior relationship manager, but you're acquiring the skills to be able to deliver those wealth management services. And in the meantime, you're learning about financial planning, investment management. There are a number of formal education tools that you can obtain, one of the most prominent being the certified financial planner designation. So getting yourself certified and educated and ready to be a relationship manager, similar to in the military mortgage advisor position. So kind of developing the skills and acquiring the knowledge and experience to become a relationship manager. And at that point, you are the focal point. You're delivering the wealth management services to the clients and really maintaining and cultivating that relationship with the clients, all of whom are AAFMAA members.
Yeah. Okay. And like we talked about for the military mortgage advisor, what would you consider would be strong qualities for an exceptional candidate for this internship position?
Yeah, and I think, like you said, John, the desire to serve the military community is key. Having their best interest in mind in terms of financial planning, helping them to build wealth, that is critically important. Having a thirst for learning and wanting to learn more about the wealth management industry and obtain those certifications and credentials within the finance field is important as well. And then that drive still remains because it is helping us grow. The relationship managers help us build more clients and more members to help AFMA and the overall association grow. So that drive is definitely an important perspective to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to give this next question to both of you because I think that you both offer unique perspectives for the answer, how you answer the question. Tiana, obviously, this one is going to be specifically for the roles that we're talking about today. But Justin, you are you've been with the AFMA team for a little bit of time, but you have recent interviewing experience with AFMA, so you have a different perspective to add into this as well. So let me ask you first, Justin, how do you feel a candidate should best prepare to interview with AFMA?
Yeah, thanks, John. It comes back to networking and preparation, right? And so Tiana's sitting here, she's given all the answers to the test, telling you exactly what she's looking for, right? So what she's looking for could be found by way of networking. So when you see the role and hey, this is it, this is what I want to do, right? Then you start sending out your little feelers on LinkedIn where you're like, okay, speaking of AFMA, right? You can pretty much determine who's in what line of business within AFMA. Are they part of AFMA Wealth Management and Trust? Are they part of just AFMA Life Insurance or AFMA Mortgages, right? And then you start connecting with them, and you're connecting with different layers of leadership and experience, right, within the AAFMAA team. So by building that relationship with them and asking probing questions around, well, tell me about the company, or what's the culture like, or, how would one person be extremely successful in a role like a military mortgage advisor? You're going to get a lot of great gold nuggets from the team. And the team is very, very supportive in providing that type of coaching and mentorship to individuals, whether military or civilian, it doesn't matter. Just being able to be of good spirit to AAFMAA. So as you're getting that information, right, then you're setting your plan in place and you're starting to prepare. Once you land an interview and Tiana reaches out to you and says, hey, we're going to have a discussion next week or within the next 2 weeks. Okay, well, then you have a week or 2 weeks to prepare. Very seldom are you going to find an organization, or would AAFMAA even take the approach of, hey, you have an interview tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and you're like, it's 2:30 right now, so I have an interview tomorrow at 10. They're not going to take that time. We have to be able to find the right types, the right time frame within all of the employees that are going to be a part of the hiring process, as well as other influencing teams, right? And make sure that we're obtaining the right type of information needed with respect to not only the candidate we're trying to hire, but trying to find the individual that brings the best experience to the table.
Sure.
So through your discussions with employees, you're going to find that information out, and then that's how you start preparing for the interview process. And I'm not sure how deep you want me to get in it, but
no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Justin. I'd like to throw it over to Tiana now to ask you, how do you feel candidates can best prepare for these specific roles if they are offered an interview?
I think so. I mean, as Justin said, the preparation is key. The development of the network, because that's only going to help them in those positions. So, they are business development roles are helping us grow. So to the extent that they have a broad network and can have lots of folks that they can talk to and help spread the word, that's a positive. Showing that you know what AAFMAA represents, what our mission is, why we exist, that's really important to us, because we're very deliberate about the people that we bring on the team and want to make sure that everyone really understands why we're here, what our mission and focus is. And to the extent that candidates can show that they've done the research and they really understand the mission of AAFMAA, and that's one of the reasons why they want to join our group, that would definitely make them stand out and put them ahead of other candidates.
Fantastic. That's great advice. As we get ready to sign off for this week's edition, Justin, I'd like to ask you finally. So when I was getting ready to transition, somebody told me transition is a team sport, and I going through my transition, really believe that is true. So Justin, from your perspective, what advice do you have for transitioning service members? It could related to anything. Getting a job, when to schedule your VA appointment, whatever you feel is the most important thing to pass on to folks that are getting ready to transition from active duty.
Yeah, first and foremost, John, I think it's about self-educating and accepting that, right? Being able to build your schedule so you can learn and take it in. You're not just going to continue your normal military journey and still doing your job and learn, right? So I got up 2 hours early, stayed up 2 hours later, and I started reading. I would recommend reading the book, What Color's Your Parachute? By Richard Bowles, as well as The Transition Mission by Herb Thompson. There's great organizations out there like PM ProLearn that can help you get your project management certification, or your Agile, or your SAFE, and they're also partners of AAFMAA. I believe it's extremely important to build your brand, to network, and to develop meaningful relationships. So my highest recommendation, if you're watching this and you're not signed up for the Digital Networking Professional Program, hands down, you need to do that right now. that in itself, like what I've learned over the last 5 years, and you can quote me on this, right? They teach in the matter of like one little course. So it took me 5 years to get to that level. And the team at the Digital Networking Professional Program and all supporting elements really do a fine job putting that together. Also leverage different types of internship opportunities like higher military or military friendly opportunities that recruiters can provide, just like Tenova provides. And then I'd also highlight mentorship. Actively, find mentors. Whether you're enrolling in, like, say, the American Corporate Partnership Program, or using Veterati, or you have some sort of coach or mentor through an organization like Vets to Industry, it's really important. Every day, just try to have at least one call with a mentor, and preferably a civilian mentor, that has ample experience in the specific industry or field or type of position that you're looking for. That'll definitely help you between those two lanes. And the third lane that I would talk about is just become financially aware and get prepared. And that's by way of protecting you, protecting your family with life insurance. That's financial planning, that's life skill planning, and risk management. So that's from my neck of the woods. What about you?
I do appreciate that, Justin, and for both of you, Tiana and Justin, I gave you a question that you could spend 3 hours and just barely hit the wave tops, and I'm asking you to do it in 2 minutes. So I appreciate all of that, Justin. Tiana, I'd love to hear your perspective as well, because I agree with Justin. My particular mentor that I chose through American Corporate Partners when I left happened to be a VP for HR as well, and had never served a day in the military, and had some of the most brilliant advice that I could ever ask for. So I'd love to hear your perspective, Tiana.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is a very wise and useful recommendation, because also those people know, they're inside the organization, they know what the organization is about, how it works, and so they will help hey, this might be a good match for you, or a good fit with your background and the strengths that I've seen in you as a person. So I think the mentorship, expanding your professional network, the LinkedIn profile, and making sure that is you're establishing your own personal brand, because that's really key. When you're going through lots of applications and resumes, the people that take the time to put a professional profile on LinkedIn, take the time to write a cover note or somehow personalize what they're doing, it really does make a big difference.
Fantastic. Thank you both very much. I'd like to put out there for everybody, join us next week, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll have another edition of Hot Jobs, higher military internship style. So join us then. And Tiana and Justin, thank you very much for your time today. And everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you later.